Hello there and welcome back to my channel, Rover Turbo. In this video we're going to be finding out whether steel seal actually works or not and the correct procedures into actually how you need to use this, because it's not as straightforward as they say it is. This is a 2017, well it's actually 2018 Mocha X. It's got the 1.4 turbo petrol engine in it. So it's a B14 NET. Now, it's basically got a head gasket gone in it. So I thought it would just be a laugh just to see whether the steel seal, I have used it before and it has worked, but I don't know if it works on something this bad. This is pretty bad. So let me just show you what we got. So obviously this is the steel seal. I think this was 24 quid, something like that, Amazon. Next day. So as you can see down here, there is a lot of evidence of something not right. So I bought this car knowing that it had a potential head gasket fault. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some more water in it, I'm going to run it, and I'm going to show you what's happening in here, because it's actually bubbling up inside the header tank and it's pressurizing the cooling system. There doesn't seem to be any other symptoms apart from a bit of mayonnaise. I thought I looked in there. So apart from that, so we're going to put some water in it, we're going to start it up, and we're going to show you the bubbles. Right, well as you can see, it's bubbling over pretty bad. And it smells in here of exhaust gases. So basically I can smell exhaust fumes coming out of there. You simply pour it in and it works in minutes. It's not quite as simple as that. If you go onto their website, there's a little bit more to it. So obviously they recommend that you read the instructions properly before you do anything, obviously. Now, this is not compatible with a lot of antifreezes. So they don't tell you that, it's not obvious. But it used to be red antifreeze that it said that it wasn't compatible with, and this don't work if you've got antifreeze in the system. But now they've got it on their website and it says that they recommend that you flush out all of the antifreeze and fill it with water first. They also say if it's bad, if you've got a bad breach and you've got a lot of bubbling or pressurizing, to disconnect that cylinder, either spark plugs or injectors. Now, I don't really know whether I want to get into that, but I may. You've obviously got to eliminate, you've got to find which cylinder is doing the bubbling. I mean, it could be more than one, but anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain the coolant out and I'm going to flush it through and get all of the antifreeze out and just put plain water in it. Now, I'm quite lucky, if you can call it lucky, in this situation where someone's obviously been topping it up with water for a long time, probably because there's a leak. Now, I'm assuming there still is a leak somewhere, and that's what's caused the loss of water and the head gasket to go. So I've only got pure water in there, but I still want to dump the water out, put fresh water in it, and then I'm going to put this in and then just let it idle with the cap off, and I'm going to see what it does. Now, on this particular car, there is a drain off down in this bottom corner of the radiator, but I can't get to it without jacking it up. So what I'm going to do is take this hose here and just get as much water out of it as I can, put the pipe back on and fill it up with water. Do that a couple of times until the water is replenished. So I've got some proper pipe clip pliers here, and I'm going to get this pipe off. Well, I think I might have found the original source of the leak. I just took this pipe off and it's just snapped off. Can you see that? There's a bit stuck inside the pipe. So it's going to need a new housing that goes on the side here. It's a common problem on these. So I'm just going to make do if I can, get something on there just to do what I need to do. So what I'm going to do now is try and show you exactly how this stuff works. So literally I'm just going to pour a little bit in there. I'm going to heat it up with a blowtorch and you'll see. And as you can see, it sort of turns into this sort of hard crystal like, and it's the heat from the combustion chamber that this obviously fills all of the gaps and then goes solid and then creates a plug. So right, this is cooled down now, and you can see it's turned into this sort of hard epoxy type, almost fiberglassy looking type stuff. So that's what happens, that's how it works when it heats up. Flushed it through a few times. I've literally got that hose just sort of loosely on what's left. So I'm going to put this in first so it goes into the system. Then I'm going to fill it up with water, start the engine, leave the cap off, and then basically just see what happens. In minutes. How many is that? 200 minutes? 300 minutes? I'm just going to put this cap on loosely, because when you first start it up it tends to splurge out. I'm just going to keep topping that up just 11 drops, and then I'm just going to leave it running, see what happens. The instructions say it's a multi-award winning still seal. It is a simple pour-in solution compatible with all standard antifreeze and vehicles with a water cooling system. Well, that's not true, is it? Ensure engine is cold and remove the radiator cap. Pour still seal directly into the radiator, replace cap. No, if you don't have a radiator cap, pour directly into the expansion tank. What has radiators now? So turn the heater and fan to maximum, start the engine and run the vehicle up to temperature. Once the vehicle reaches operating temperature, idle for 30 minutes. Turn the vehicle off and allow it to cool completely. Top up with antifreeze water as necessary and replace radiator cap. Leave still seal in your system and drive the vehicle as usual. That's it's going to be constantly filling the holes. Okay, so NB, we recommend flushing the cooling system before use to remove any other chemicals and refill with blue. There we go. So they recommend blue, which not a lot of cars use nowadays. Not compatible with waterless coolants or extended life antifreeze, which is red antifreeze and other antifreezes. Green antifreeze, I think, in a lot of VWs. If introducing still seal via an expansion tank, ensure there is enough room for it to enter the cooling system directly, not just sit in the expansion tank. If vehicle overheats during process, turn off immediately. For back pressure, follow additional instructions on stillseal.co.uk, which is the information on disconnecting spark plugs and injectors and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's an interesting note, isn't it? It's basically they only recommend using this with blue antifreeze, which isn't a long life antifreeze, which most manufacturers do not use now. and haven't used for a very long time. Okay, so we're up to temperature. The heaters are cold. There's obviously, I'm missing a bleed somewhere, or I need to give it a bit of revs, but I don't want to do that while it's doing its thing. I don't want to, you know, blow the steel seal out wherever. Right, well, there's a lot of bubbling going on in there. So I don't think that's a good thing. The upper hose is hot. The heater hoses are, this one's warm, so it's obviously now locking the heater. So there's still a lot of pressure in. There's still a lot of pressure being created somewhere, I would say. So we'll just let it do its thing, we'll see what happens. I mean, it may be that you have to let it cool. If you've got a pressurising cooling system, the steel seal is going to be in the water and it's going to be inside the engine still hot. So it's still going to do what it needs to do during the cool down process without those combustion gases trying to force past it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it off, I'm going to leave it, and then let it cool down completely. Come back tomorrow, see what happens. Right, well, we're back on the Mocha today. It's been a couple of days. I've gone through the procedure, obviously, with the steel seal, and we've let it cool as per the instructions. So, right, so cap off, we'll start it up, and we'll see what it does. As normal, it starts fine, seems to run fine, start fine. Still got a lot of bubbling from the expansion bottle. Very strong smell of petrol. And now that could be from the water. We'll let it warm up and see what happens. It's fully warmed up. This pipe is getting very, very hard. So I think it's still pressurising. Not as bad as it was, but it's still pressurising. So the conclusion, it hasn't fixed it. It's better, it's much better, but it hasn't fixed it. I gave it a couple of goes, so I warmed it up and then cooled it down, and now I've warmed it back up again. And I've got the cap on, the heater keeps going hot, one of the pipes is hot and then the other one goes cold. There's still smoke when I rev it coming out the back. I don't dare drive it because of that housing. It's only literally just, the hose clip is just on a little stub. Now that pops off while I'm driving, that's it, I'm stranded. So in this particular, yes, steel seal will work, but in this particular occasion, it didn't. Now, money back guarantee, I didn't follow their instructions to the letter. That's how they're going to get away with it. Because if they say if you've got extreme pressurising, then you need to disconnect that cylinder that is causing the pressure. Otherwise it will never make the seal because it's always pushing past the compression gases. So there you go. There's a little example for you. The head will have to come off of this and be examined. I reckon what happened with this particular car is the thermostat housing that broke had a leak, and they've just topped it up with water, and it's either rotted the head gasket and that's why it's blown, or they just didn't put water in it one day, it ran out of water, it overheated and it warped the head and it blew the head gasket. That's what I think happened. So there you go. I hope you found this video interesting. I hope you learned something. Please click subscribe if you got this far, and it helps the channel out, and I'll see you in the next one.